I saw her at the intersection of Maple and 4th, right where the overpass throws shadow across 3 lanes during afternoon traffic. Red light, engine idling. My hands on the wheel at 10 and 2, like I'd done 10,000 times before. She was standing on the median with a piece of cardboard. The child was maybe 3 years old, wrapped in a blanket that had seen better days. My daughter didn't look up when cars passed. She kept her eyes down, the sign shaking slightly in her hands. The handwriting was rushed, uneven. Anything helps, God bless. I recognized her shoes first, brown flats with the scuff on the left toe. I'd bought those 2 Christmases ago. She'd complained they pinched, but wore them anyway because they matched everything. The light stayed red. The child wasn't crying. That bothered me more than if he had been. He just stood there, silent, staring at nothing. His face was too still for a 3-year-old. I lowered the passenger window. Emily. Her head snapped up. The color drained from her face so fast I thought she might pass out. The cardboard fell from her hands. She took a step back, then stopped, like she'd forgotten where she could go. Dad. The word came out broken. Not surprised, not relieved, just broken. Get in the car. She shook her head. I can't. Emily, get in the car. You don't understand. Then explain it to me. She looked around like someone might be watching. The light turned green. Cars behind me started honking. I didn't move. Dad, please, just go. Not until you tell me what happened. She bent down, picked up the cardboard, held it against her chest like a shield. Her hands were shaking so hard the sign rattled. They took everything, she said. Legally. The honking got louder. Someone shouted. I pulled over to the shoulder, put the hazards on, got out. Emily backed away. Who took what? Brandon, his mother, the lawyers. The house? She nodded. The car? Another nod. The house I signed over to you 3 years ago. The car I put in your name. It wasn't in my name, she whispered. Not really. They said it was temporary, just paperwork, just until things settled. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not anger, not yet, just cold. Where are you staying? A shelter, sometimes. Sometimes? When there's room. I looked at the child. He was staring at me now, big eyes, no expression. What's his name? Trevor. Does he eat? Emily's face crumpled. She pressed the cardboard tighter against her chest and nodded, but we both knew she was lying. Get in the car, Emily. I can't. Brandon said if I talk to you, he'll what? She didn't answer. Emily, get in the car. We're going to get food. Then you're going to tell me everything. She hesitated. Looked at Trevor, looked at me. Then she picked up the child and walked to the passenger side. I opened the door. She got in. Trevor sat on her lap. Neither of them put on a seatbelt. When did you eat last? Yesterday. What did you eat? Crackers. I didn't ask where she got them. We drove in silence for 3 blocks. Then Emily said, He's going to be angry. Brandon? Yeah. Let him be angry. You don't know what he's like now. Then tell me. She stared out the window. He's different. After the wedding, after we moved into the house, he just changed. I pulled into a diner parking lot. Old place. Vinyl booths. Coffee that tasted like battery acid but came with free refills. I used to take Emily here when she was younger, before college, before Brandon. Come on, I said. Inside, the waitress gave Emily a look but didn't say anything. We sat in a booth near the back. Trevor climbed into the seat next to Emily and stared at the laminated menu like it was written in a foreign language. The waitress came over. I ordered 3 breakfast platters, orange juice, milk, coffee. Anything else? She asked. That's it. She walked away. Emily was crying now. Quiet. The kind of crying where you're trying not to make noise because you've learned that noise gets you in trouble. Start from the beginning, I said. I don't know where the beginning is. The house? Start with the house. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. You gave it to me. You said it was mine. You said you wanted me to have security. I did. Brandon said we should put it in both our names. For the marriage. He said it was normal. His mom said it too. She said if I didn't, it meant I didn't trust him. I kept my face neutral. And you agreed. I thought it made sense. We were married. It was supposed to be ours anyway, right? What about the car? Same thing. He said it should be in both names. For insurance. His mom had a lawyer look at it. She said it was better that way. Less complicated. The food came. Emily stared at it like she didn't know what to do. Trevor picked up a piece of bacon and held it without eating. Eat, I said. Emily picked up her fork. Her hands were still shaking. She took a bite of eggs, chewed slowly, swallowed like it hurt. Then what happened? Things were okay for a while. A few months. Then Brandon started getting angry. Little things at first. I left a dish in the sink. I forgot to pick up his dry cleaning. He'd yell, then he'd apologize. Then he'd yell again. Did he hit you? She didn't answer right away. That was answer enough. Once, she said quietly. Just once. He said it was my fault. He said I pushed him to it. I felt my jaw tighten. I forced it to relax. Go on. His mom started coming over more. She'd walk through the house like she owned it. She'd tell me I was doing things wrong. Cooking wrong, cleaning wrong, raising Trevor wrong. Brandon never defended me. He'd just sit there and let her talk. When did they take the house? 6 months ago. Brandon said we needed to refinance. He said it would lower the payments. I signed the papers. I didn't read them. I should have read them. What did the papers say? I don't know. I tried to ask later, but Brandon said I didn't need to worry about it. Then one day his mom showed up with a lawyer. They said the house was in Brandon's name now. Just his. They said I'd signed it over. They said it was legal. And the car? Same thing. Different papers. Same result. I drank my coffee. It tasted like rust. I drank it anyway. Where's Brandon now? At the house. With his mom. And you're on the street. He said I could stay if I followed the rules. His mom's rules. But I couldn't. I tried. I really tried, Dad. But she wanted me to. Her voice broke. She put her fork down. Trevor finally ate the bacon. What did she want? Emily shook her head. It doesn't matter. I left. I took Trevor and I left. Brandon said if I ever came back, he'd call the cops. He said I was trespassing. He said the house was his and I had no right to be there. Did you call the police? And say what? He's right. It's his house, his name, his paperwork. I signed everything. I gave it all away. She started crying again. Harder this time. Trevor put his small hand on her arm. She pulled him close and buried her face in his hair. I finished my coffee. Signaled the waitress for a refill. Watched Emily cry into my grandson's shoulder. They took everything, she said again. Legally. I nodded. I heard you the first time. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. Stop apologizing. I should have listened to you. You said not to rush into marriage. You said to wait. I didn't listen. No, you didn't. She flinched. I regretted the words immediately, but I didn't take them back. They were true. What are you going to do? She asked. I looked at her, at Trevor, at the empty plates and the crumpled napkins and the weight of everything she'd just told me. I'm going to fix it. You can't. It's legal. They have lawyers. They have everything. Emily. She looked up. I'm going to fix it. How? I stood up, put 2 20s on the table. You're coming with me, both of you. I have a spare room. You'll stay there until this is sorted out. Brandon will do nothing. You don't know him. No, I said. But he doesn't know me either. I walked toward the exit. Emily grabbed Trevor and followed. Outside, the sky was starting to darken. Rain coming? I could smell it in the air. We got in the car. I started the engine. Emily buckled Trevor into the back seat, then buckled herself in the front. Her hands had stopped shaking. What are you going to do? She asked again. I pulled out of the parking lot onto the main road. First, I'm going to make a phone call. Then I'm going to visit someone. Then we'll see. Who are you going to call? An old friend? What kind of friend? I glanced at her. The kind who remembers things. Emily didn't ask anything else. We drove in silence. The rain started before we made it to my apartment. Heavy drops, loud against the windshield. I turned the wipers on high and kept driving. Trevor fell asleep in the back seat. Emily stared out the window. I thought about the house I'd given her, the one I'd saved for, the one I'd bought outright so she'd never have to worry about payments, the one that was supposed to keep her safe. I thought about Brandon, about his mother, about lawyers and paperwork and words like legally. I thought about the traffic light, the cardboard sign, the child who didn't cry, and I thought about what I was going to do next. Before we go any further, hit the hype button, take a second to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And tell us in the comments, what would you do in this situation? My apartment wasn't much. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a kitchen the size of a closet. But it was paid for, and it was quiet, and nobody could take it from me because I'd learned a long time ago not to put my name on anything I wasn't prepared to lose. Emily put Trevor in the spare bedroom. He was still asleep. She stood in the doorway watching him for a long time before she closed the door. "Thank you," she said. "Don't thank me yet." She sat on the couch. I made coffee. Real coffee this time, not the diner sludge. When it was ready, I poured 2 cups and handed her one. "Tell me about Brandon's mother," I said. Emily wrapped both hands around the mug. "Her name is Claire Sutton. She used to be married to a developer. Big houses, big projects. He died 5 years ago. Heart attack. Left her everything." "How much is everything?" "I don't know exactly. Enough that she doesn't work. Enough that she acts like she owns the world. And Brandon? He's her only child. She treats him like he's still 10 years old. He lets her. What does he do for work? Property management. He runs a company. Or she runs it and he pretends to. I was never really sure." I sat down across from her. "When you signed the papers, was there a witness?" "A notary. Someone Claire brought." "Do you remember the name?" She shook her head. "I didn't pay attention. I should have. I know I should have." "What about the lawyer? The one who came to the house?" "Martin something. Martin Ellis, maybe. He had a card. I don't know where it is now." I pulled out my phone, opened the browser, searched for Martin Ellis, lawyer, property law. 3 results came up. One was in the right city. I clicked it. "This him?" Emily leaned over, looked at the screen. "Yeah, that's him." I bookmarked the page. "What about the refinance papers? Do you have copies?" "No, Brandon kept everything. He said it was safer that way." "Did you ever see the deed? After the transfer?" "No." "Did you ever get anything in writing? Email? Text?" "Brandon doesn't text about important stuff. He says it leaves a trail." I almost smiled. Almost. Smart. "What do you mean?" "He knows what he's doing. This wasn't accidental. This was planned." Emily's face went pale. "You think he married me just to—" "I don't know, but I'm going to find out." I stood up, went to the closet, pulled out a box I hadn't opened in 3 years. Inside were files, documents, records, things I'd kept because I'd worked in structural safety long enough to know that paper mattered more than promises. I found what I was looking for near the bottom. The original deed to the house, the one I'd signed over to Emily. Her name was on it, just hers. No Brandon, no Claire, just Emily Cross. "When did you get married?" I asked. 2 years ago. March. "And when did you add Brandon's name to the deed?" "A few months after that. June, maybe." I held up the deed. "This is the original. Your name, no one else's. If they transferred it, there should be a record. County records, public information." "What does that mean?" "It means I can find out who owns the house right now, and I can find out when the transfer happened, and I can see the paperwork." Emily set her coffee down. "What good does that do? Even if you find it, they still own it. It's still legal." "Maybe, maybe not." "What does that mean?" I didn't answer. I pulled out my phone again, dialed a number I hadn't called in over a year. It rang 4 times. Then a voice answered. Gruff, tired. "Yeah? It's Daniel." Silence. Then, "Daniel Cross?" "Yeah." "I'll be damned. What do you want?" "I need a favor." "What kind of favor?" "The kind that involves county records and a property transfer." Another pause. "You in trouble?" "Not me. My daughter." "What happened?" "Her husband took her house. I need to know how." "Legally?" "That's what I'm trying to figure out." The voice on the other end sighed. "Give me the address." I rattled it off. Heard typing on the other end. "Got it. I'll dig around. Might take a day or 2. I need it faster." "I figured you'd say that. I'll see what I can do." "Thanks, Ray." "Don't thank me yet. If this is what I think it is, you're not going to like what I find." "I already don't like it." "Fair enough. I'll call you." He hung up. I pocketed the phone. Emily was staring at me. "Who was that?" "Ray Donovan. Used to work in code enforcement, so he knows how to navigate records." "What's he going to find?" "The truth." "And then what?" I sat back down. "Then I'm going to visit Brandon." "Dad, no. He'll what? Call the cops? Fine. Let him. I'm not going to do anything illegal. I'm just going to talk." "You don't know what he's like." "You keep saying that. But Emily, you don't know what I'm like either." She opened her mouth, closed it, looked at the floor. "I'm not the same person you remember," I said quietly. "I've been polite. I've been quiet. I've let people think I'm soft because it made life easier. But that doesn't mean I am. I know you're not soft. No, you think I'm not soft. There's a difference. She didn't respond. I finished my coffee. Get some sleep, both of you. Tomorrow we're going to start putting this back together. How? One piece at a time. Emily stood up, walked to the spare bedroom, stopped at the door. Dad? Yeah? I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. I know. I should have. Yeah, you should have. She went inside, closed the door. I sat in the dark and waited for Ray to call back. He didn't call that night or the next morning. By noon, I was starting to wonder if he'd blown me off. Then my phone buzzed. I found it, Ray said. No greeting, just straight to business. What did you find? The transfer. It's clean, legal, notarized, witnessed. Emily signed over her ownership to Brandon Sutton. Full quitclaim deed, no compensation listed. When? 8 months ago. I did the math. That was 2 months before Emily said Brandon had kicked her out. What about the car? Same thing. Title transfer, same notary, same witness, same date. Who was the notary? Linda Haynes, licensed, based out of the same office as Martin Ellis. The lawyer. Yeah. Anything else? Ray hesitated. Yeah. One more thing. The house was refinanced 3 months after the transfer. Brandon took out a loan against it. $200,000. How much was the house worth? About $350, so he's leveraged but not underwater. Where did the money go? That I can't tell you. Bank records are private. I thought about that. What about the company? Brandon's property management company. What about it? Is it registered? More typing. Yeah, Sutton Property Solutions. Registered to Brandon Sutton and Claire Sutton. Equal ownership. Any complaints? Let me check. I waited. Heard Ray clicking through screens. 3 complaints in the last 2 years. 1 for failure to return a security deposit. 1 for unsafe living conditions. 1 for lease violations. All settled out of court. Settled how? Looks like refunds. Small amounts. Nothing major. Anything else? Not in the public records. You want me to dig deeper? How deep can you go? Depends on how much you're willing to pay. I'm willing to pay. Then I can go pretty deep. Give me 3 days. Make it 2. Ray laughed. You haven't changed. Neither have you. Fair. I'll call you. He hung up again. I set the phone down. Thought about what he'd told me. Emily had signed over the house, the car, everything. Clean transfers, legal, notarized. But something about it felt wrong. I pulled up the notary's name on my phone, Linda Haynes. Her office was listed at the same address as Martin Ellis, same building, probably same floor. Convenient. Too convenient. I grabbed my keys. Emily was in the kitchen making sandwiches for Trevor. She looked up when I walked in. Where are you going? Out. Where? To see a lawyer. Dad, please, don't do anything stupid. I'm not going to do anything stupid. I'm going to ask questions. What if he doesn't answer? Then I'll ask someone else. I walked out before she could argue, got in my car, drove to the address Ray had given me. The building was downtown, glass and steel, expensive. I parked in the garage and took the elevator to the 8th floor. The office was at the end of the hall. Martin Ellis, attorney at law. The door was open. Inside, a receptionist sat behind a desk, typing on a computer. Can I help you? She asked without looking up. I'm here to see Martin Ellis. Do you have an appointment? No. Mr. Ellis doesn't see clients without an appointment. Tell him it's about the Sutton property transfer. She stopped typing, looked up. I'm sorry? The Sutton property transfer. Brandon Sutton. I'm Emily Cross's father. Her face went blank. Professional. I'll see if he's available. She picked up the phone, dialed an extension, spoke quietly, hung up. Mr. Ellis will see you in a moment. I sat down, waited. 5 minutes later, a man came out. Tall, late 40s, expensive suit, expensive watch. Mr. Cross? I stood. That's right. I'm Martin Ellis. Please come in. I followed him into his office. He closed the door, gestured to a chair. I sat. He sat behind his desk. What can I do for you? He asked. You handled a property transfer for my daughter, Emily Cross, now Emily Sutton. I handle a lot of transfers. I'd need to check my records. 8 months ago, house on Pinecrest Avenue. Transferred from Emily to Brandon Sutton. He leaned back in his chair. I'm afraid I can't discuss specific client matters. I'm not asking you to discuss them. I'm asking you to confirm them. I can't do that either. Why not? Attorney-client privilege. I'm her father. That doesn't give you access to her legal records. I nodded. Fair enough. Let me ask you something else. Do you also represent Claire Sutton? His expression didn't change. I represent several clients. I can't confirm or deny specific names. That's a yes. That's a refusal to answer. Same thing. He smiled, thin, professional. Mr. Cross, I understand you're concerned about your daughter, but I can't help you. If she has questions about the transfer, she's welcome to contact me directly. She doesn't have your number. I'm sure she can find it. I stood up. One more question. I'm not going to answer it. You don't know what it is yet? He waited. Did Emily read the documents before she signed them? I couldn't say. Because you don't know, or because you won't tell me? Because it's not relevant. It's relevant to me. Then you'll have to ask her. I walked to the door, stopped, turned back. You're a piece of work, I said. I'm a lawyer, he replied. It's the same thing. I left. Took the elevator back down, got in my car, sat there for a long time. Emily had signed the papers. That much was clear, but something about the whole thing smelled wrong. I drove home. Emily was waiting. Well, she asked. He wouldn't tell me anything. I told you he wouldn't. Yeah, you did. I walked past her into the living room, pulled out my phone, stared at it for a while. Then I called Ray again. I need more, I said when he picked up. More what? More on Brandon, more on Claire, more on the company. Everything you can find. That's going to cost. I don't care. When do you need it? Yesterday. Ray laughed. I'll do what I can. He hung up. I set the phone down. Emily was standing in the doorway. What are you planning? She asked. I don't know yet. Dad, I said I don't know yet. She didn't believe me. I didn't blame her, because I did know. I just wasn't ready to say it out loud. I started going to places I knew Brandon frequented. Coffee shops, restaurants, the property management office. I didn't approach him. I just watched, studied his routine, learned his patterns. He was predictable. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he met his mother at a cafe downtown. They'd sit in the corner booth, talk in low voices. She'd hand him envelopes. He'd pocket them without looking inside. Every Friday, he went to the bank, stayed for 20 minutes, came out looking either relieved or stressed, never in between. Saturdays, he worked at the office, alone, lights on until 9 or 10 at night, sometimes later. He was drowning. I could see it in the way he moved, the way he checked his phone every few minutes, the way he rubbed his temples when he thought nobody was looking. Good. On a Thursday afternoon, I walked into the cafe, sat 3 tables away, ordered coffee, opened a newspaper. Brandon and Claire were already there. She was talking, he was listening, or pretending to. You need to sell, Claire said. Her voice was low, but I could hear her. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. I know. Then do it. I'm trying. Julie says the market is slow right now. The market is always slow when you're desperate. That's why you don't act desperate. I'm not. You are, and people can smell it. Brandon didn't respond. Claire leaned forward. Fix the violations, list the house, take the first reasonable offer, use the money to pay off the loans, start over. There won't be any money left after the loans. Then you start over with nothing. It's better than drowning. Brandon ran his hands through his hair. I can't believe this is happening. It's happening because you got greedy. You thought you could leverage the house and make a quick profit. You were wrong. You told me to do it. Claire's expression hardened. I told you to be smart. You weren't. She stood up, dropped a 20 on the table, walked out. Brandon sat there for a long time, staring at his coffee, not drinking. I finished my coffee, left a tip, walked out. That night, I called Jack. I need another favor, I said. What now? Can you make the repairs on the house look worse than they are? Silence. Then, what do you mean? I mean, can you go back, take more pictures, make the damage look more extensive? You want me to lie? I want you to exaggerate. That's the same thing. Jack? No, I'm not doing that. I gave you an honest assessment. I'm not going to falsify it. I'm not asking you to falsify it. I'm asking you to... To what? Make it look worse so you can screw someone over? No, find someone else. He hung up. I set the phone down. He was right. I knew he was right. But I didn't care. I needed more pressure, more leverage, more cracks in Brandon's armor. I sat in the dark and thought about what to do next. The answer came 2 days later. I was driving past the house when I saw a man standing on the porch. He was young, maybe 30, dressed in a suit, holding a clipboard. I pulled over, watched. The man knocked on the door, waited, knocked again. Nobody answered. He wrote something on the clipboard, walked around to the side of the house, took pictures. I got out of my car, walked over. "Can I help you?" I asked. He turned. "Are you the homeowner?" "No, just a neighbor. What's going on?" He hesitated, then said, "I'm with the city, following up on a code enforcement complaint." "I heard about that. Are things that bad?" "I can't discuss details, but let's just say the owner needs to address some issues." "What happens if he doesn't?" "Fines, possible condemnation." "Condemnation?" "If the property is deemed unsafe, yes." I nodded. "That's serious." "It is." He walked back to his car. I watched him drive away. Then I pulled out my phone, called Ray. "I need you to find out who's handling the code enforcement case," I said. "Why?" "Because I want to know what they're going to do next." "That's not public information." "Can you get it anyway?" Ray sighed. "Probably. Give me a day." He called back that night. "The case is being handled by a woman named Sandra Mills. She's a senior inspector, known for being tough. She doesn't let things slide." "Does she have a reputation?" "For what?" "For being aggressive, for pushing cases through." "Yeah, she's got a reputation. Some people think she's too aggressive. Others think she's just doing her job." "Can I talk to her?" "Officially? No, she won't discuss active cases with third parties." "Unofficially?" "You'd have to catch her off the clock. And even then, she's not going to tell you much." "Where does she go after work?" "How should I know?" "Because you know everything, Ray." He laughed. "There's a bar near the code enforcement office, O'Malley's. She's there most Fridays." "Thanks." "Daniel." "Yeah?" "Don't do anything stupid." "You keep saying that." "Because you keep ignoring it." I hung up. Friday night, I went to O'Malley's. It was a small place, dark wood, low lights, smelled like beer and fried food. Sandra Mills was sitting at the bar, alone, drinking something amber. I sat 2 stools away, ordered a whiskey. We didn't talk for a while. Then she glanced over. "You waiting for someone?" she asked. "No. You?" "Nope." I sipped my drink. "Long week?" "You could say that. What do you do?" "Code enforcement." I nodded. "That sounds stressful." "It is. People don't like being told their property is unsafe." "I bet." She finished her drink, signaled for another. "You?" "I'm retired. Used to work in structural safety." Her eyebrows went up. "Yeah? Where?" I told her. She nodded. "I've heard of that company. Good reputation." "We tried." She got her drink, took a sip. "You ever deal with difficult property owners?" "All the time." "Then you know what it's like." "I do." She looked at me. "Why do I feel like you didn't just wander in here by accident?" I smiled. "Because you're good at your job." "What do you want?" "Information." "About what?" "A case you're working. Property on Pinecrest Avenue." Her expression went cold. "I can't discuss active cases." "I know. I'm not asking you to. I'm just asking if you're going to follow through." "Of course I'm going to follow through. That's my job." "Even if the owner tries to fix the problems?" "If the problems are fixed properly, the case closes. If they're not, it stays open." "And if the owner can't afford to fix them?" "That's not my problem. The property is unsafe. It needs to be addressed." "What if he tries to sell it without fixing it?" "Then the buyer inherits the problems. And if the seller doesn't disclose the violations, that's fraud." I nodded. "Good to know." She stared at me. "Who are you?" "Nobody, just someone who cares about that property." "Why?" "Because my daughter used to own it." Sandra set her glass down. "Let me guess. Brandon Sutton is your son-in-law?" "Was." "And you're the one who filed the complaint." "I didn't say that." "You didn't have to." She stood up, dropped cash on the bar. "I'm going to give you some advice. Stay out of it. Let the system work. If you start interfering, you're going to make things worse. For everyone." "I'm not interfering. I'm just asking questions." "You're pushing. And if you push too hard, Brandon is going to push back. Then things get messy." "I can handle messy." "Maybe. But can your daughter?" She walked out. I sat there, finished my drink. Thought about what she'd said. She was right. Brandon was going to push back. Eventually. But I was ready. A week later, Brandon came to my apartment. I heard the knock, looked through the peephole, saw him standing there, hands in his pockets, jaw tight. I opened the door. Brandon, we need to talk. About what? You know what? I stepped aside. Come in. He walked past me, looked around, saw Emily sitting on the couch. His expression hardened. You're here. Yeah, Emily said quietly. With him? Yeah, Brandon turned to me. You filed the complaint. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't play dumb. The code enforcement case, the violations. That was you. Prove it. His hands clenched into fists. You're trying to ruin me. You ruined yourself. I gave Emily everything. A house, stability, a life. You gave her nothing. You took everything she had and left her on the street. She signed the papers. She agreed. She agreed because you manipulated her. You and your mother and your lawyer. Brandon stepped forward. You don't know anything. I know you're drowning. I know you've got 3 loans on a house you can't sell. I know you're 1 bad month away from losing everything. His face went red. You did this? No, you did this. I'm just watching it happen. If you don't back off, You'll what? He didn't answer. That's what I thought. Brandon turned to Emily. You need to come home. I don't have a home. You have our home. The house, it's still yours. No, it's not. You made sure of that. Emily, get out, she said. Brandon stared at her. You're making a mistake. I've already made my mistakes. You were one of them. He looked at me, then back at her. Then he walked out, slammed the door behind him. Emily started crying. I sat next to her, didn't say anything, just sat there. He's going to do something, she said. Let him. You don't know what he's capable of. Neither does he, she wiped her eyes. What if he comes back? Then I'll handle it. How? However I need to. That night, I got a call from Ray. Brandon just filed a restraining order, he said. Against who? You. I sat up. On what grounds? Harassment, intimidation. He's claiming you've been following him, threatening him. That's bullshit. Maybe, but he filed it. There's a hearing scheduled for next week. What happens at the hearing? You show up, explain your side. The judge decides if the order stands. And if it does, then you can't go near him, or the house, or his mother. If you do, you get arrested. I thought about that. Can he do the same to Emily? He could try, but she'd have a stronger case against him than he does against her. What do you mean? She's the one who got kicked out. She's the one who lost everything. If anyone should have a restraining order, it's her. Could she file one? Yeah, but it might not help. Courts are tricky with domestic stuff. Thanks, Ray. You going to the hearing? Yeah. Don't lose your temper. I won't. I'm serious, Daniel. If you go in there angry, you're going to lose. I know. He hung up. I sat in the dark, thought about the hearing, about Brandon, about the restraining order, and I thought about what Emily had said. He's going to do something. The hearing was in a small courtroom, fluorescent lights, cheap wood paneling. Brandon was there with a lawyer, expensive suit, slicked back hair. I sat on the other side. No lawyer, just me, though the judge was a woman in her 50s, tired eyes, no-nonsense expression. This is a hearing for a temporary restraining order, she said. Mr. Sutton, you filed the petition. Please state your case. Brandon's lawyer stood up. Your Honor, my client has been subjected to harassment and intimidation by Mr. Cross. He has followed Mr. Sutton to public places. He has made veiled threats. He has created a hostile environment. What kind of threats? The judge asked. Verbal threats. Implications that he would cause harm to my client's property and livelihood. Did Mr. Cross make any explicit threats of violence? Not explicit, no, but the implication was clear. The judge looked at me. Mr. Cross, do you have a lawyer? No, Your Honor. Do you want to respond? I stood up. I've never threatened Mr. Sutton. I've asked questions. I've been to public places where he happened to be, but I've never followed him. I've never threatened him. Why were you at these public places? Because I was investigating what happened to my daughter. Your daughter? Yes, Mr. Sutton's ex-wife. He took her house, her car, left her homeless with a 3-year-old child. The judge looked at Brandon. Is this true? Brandon's lawyer jumped in. Your Honor, the property transfers were legal. Ms. Cross signed the documents voluntarily. Was she coerced? No, she was fully informed. The judge looked at me. Do you have evidence of coercion? Not in the legal sense, but she was manipulated, pressured. She didn't understand what she was signing. That's not grounds for invalidating a legal document. I know, but it's grounds for looking into how the documents were handled. The judge leaned back. Mr. Cross, have you been to Mr. Sutton's property? Once. I looked at it from the street. I didn't go inside. Did you file the code enforcement complaint? I hesitated. I reported safety violations. That's not illegal. No, but it is relevant. She looked at Brandon's lawyer. Anything else? Your Honor, my client is concerned for his safety. Mr. Cross has a history of working in structural safety. He has the knowledge and means to cause significant harm. Has he caused any harm? Not yet. But then I'm not issuing a restraining order based on hypotheticals. Brandon's lawyer opened his mouth. The judge held up a hand. However, she continued, I am going to issue a warning. Mr. Cross, you are to stay away from Mr. Sutton's property. You are not to contact him directly. You are not to follow him. If there are any further incidents, I will reconsider this petition. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. Good. This hearing is adjourned. She banged her gavel, stood up, walked out. Brandon glared at me. I stared back. Then I walked out. Emily was waiting in the hallway. What happened? She asked. He didn't get the restraining order, but I have to stay away from him. Is that bad? Not really. I wasn't planning to go near him anyway. Then what are you planning? I looked at her. I'm planning to let him destroy himself. We walked out of the courthouse, got in my car, drove home. That night, Ray called again. Brandon just listed the house, he said. For how much? $320,000. That's under market. Yeah, he's desperate. How long until it sells? Hard to say. Could be a week, could be a month. Depends on the buyer. What happens to the loans? If he sells for $320, he'll barely cover the debt. He might walk away with nothing. Good. You're really enjoying this, aren't you? Yeah, I am. Ray laughed. Cold, Daniel. Very cold. I hung up, sat in the dark, thought about the house, about Brandon, about the end game. It was coming. Soon. The house didn't sell. 2 weeks went by. No offers. Brandon dropped the price to $300,000. Still nothing. Ray called. The market's not biting. Too many issues. Word is getting around about the code violations. How? Disclosure laws. Brandon has to tell potential buyers about the problems. Most people don't want to deal with it. So he's stuck. For now. What's he going to do? My guess? He'll keep dropping the price until someone bites. Or he'll default on the loans and let the bank take it. How long until that happens? Couple months, maybe less. I thought about that. What about Claire? Is she still helping him? Hard to say, but based on what I'm seeing, she's pulling back. Why? Because she's smart. She knows when to cut her losses. And Brandon. Brandon is sinking. I hung up, felt something close to satisfaction. Then my phone buzzed again. Different number. I answered. Mr. Cross? Yeah. This is Sandra Mills, Code Enforcement. I remember. I wanted to let you know. The property on Pinecrest Avenue has been condemned. I sat up. What? The owner failed to address the violations within the required time frame. We've issued a condemnation order. The property is unfit for occupancy. What does that mean? It means no one can live there until the repairs are made, and if the repairs aren't made within 90 days, the city can seize the property. Seize it? Yes. Through eminent domain. We'd sell it at auction to recover the costs. And the owner? The owner loses the property. Any outstanding debt becomes their problem. I thought about Brandon, about the loans, about the house he couldn't sell and now couldn't occupy. Thank you for letting me know, I said. You're welcome. And Mr. Cross? Yeah? I know you care about this property, but let the system work. Don't interfere. I won't. She hung up. I sat there, stared at the phone. Then I called Emily into the living room. What's going on? She asked. The house has been condemned? Her eyes went wide. What does that mean? It means Brandon can't live there, can't sell it. Not until he fixes it, and if he doesn't fix it, the city takes it. How long does he have? 90 days. Can he fix it in 90 days? Not without money. And he doesn't have money, Emily sat down. So he loses everything? Yeah. She didn't say anything for a long time. Then she looked at me. You did this. I reported violations. That's all. No. You planned this. You knew this would happen. I hoped it would happen. There's a difference. Is there? I didn't answer. Emily stood up. I need some air. She walked out. I heard the door close, sat in the dark. She was right. I had planned this. Every step, every move. I'd known what would happen if I pushed hard enough. And I'd pushed. 2 days later, Brandon showed up again. This time, I was ready. I heard the knock, looked through the peephole, saw him standing there, face red, hands shaking. I opened the door. "You did this," he said. "Did what?" "You know what? The condemnation. The city taking my house. That was you." "I reported safety violations. That's not illegal." "You destroyed me." "No, you destroyed yourself." He stepped forward, got in my face. "I'm going to sue you for harassment, for interference, for everything." "Go ahead. See how far you get. I'll win." "No, you won't, because everything I did was legal. You can't sue someone for telling the truth." His jaw clenched. "You're going to regret this." "Am I?" "Yeah, you are." I stepped closer, lowered my voice. "Brandon, let me tell you something. You took my daughter's house. You left her on the street with a child. You thought you could get away with it because you had lawyers and paperwork and your mother's money, but you forgot one thing." "What?" "I'm not her. I don't forgive. I don't forget. And I don't lose." His face went pale. "Now get off my property," I said. He stood there for a moment, then he turned and walked away. I closed the door, locked it, sat down. Emily came out of the bedroom. "What did he want?" she asked. "To threaten me." "And?" "And I told him to leave." She sat next to me. "This is getting out of control." "No, it's getting finished." "What if he does something crazy?" "Then I'll handle it." "How?" I looked at her. "However I need to." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Brandon, about the house, about what came next. At 2 a.m, my phone buzzed. Unknown number, I answered. "Mr. Cross?" A woman's voice, shaky. "Yeah. This is Julie Park. I'm the real estate agent handling the property on Pinecrest Avenue. I know who you are. I need to talk to you." "About what?" "About Brandon Sutton, about what's happening." "Why are you calling me?" "Because I think you can help." "Help with what?" "With stopping this before it gets worse." I sat up. "I'm listening." "Can we meet?" "When?" "Tomorrow, morning. There's a coffee shop on 5th Street. "I know it." 10 o'clock? "I'll be there." She hung up. I set the phone down, stared at the ceiling. What was she playing at? The next morning, I got to the coffee shop early, ordered coffee, sat in the back. Julie Park walked in at 10 on the dot. She was younger than I expected, maybe 40, professional, nervous. She sat down across from me. "Thank you for coming," she said. "What do you want?" "I want to help Brandon sell the house." "Why are you telling me?" "Because you're the reason he can't." I didn't respond. "The condemnation," she continued, "the violations, the city breathing down his neck, that's all because of you." "I reported safety issues." "That's not a crime." "No, but it's strategic. You knew what would happen." "So?" She leaned forward. "So I'm asking you to back off. Let him fix the problems. Let him sell the house. Let this end." "Why would I do that?" "Because if you don't, he's going to lose everything. And when he loses everything, he's going to do something stupid." "Like what?" "I don't know, but I know desperation. And Brandon is desperate." I sipped my coffee. "Not my problem." "It will be if he hurts someone." "Is that a threat?" "No, it's a warning." I set the cup down. "Julie, let me tell you something. Brandon took my daughter's house. He left her homeless, he manipulated her, lied to her, and threw her away when she was no longer useful. So forgive me if I don't care about his desperation." "I understand that, but nothing. He made his choices. Now he gets to live with them." She stared at me. "You're not going to stop." "No, even if it destroys him. Especially if it destroys him." She stood up. "You're making a mistake?" "We'll see." She walked out. I finished my coffee, thought about what she'd said. Brandon is desperate. Good. Let him be desperate. Let him feel what Emily felt. 3 days later, I got a call from Mrs. Patterson. "There's a fire," she said. "Where?" "The house. Your daughter's house. It's burning." I grabbed my keys. "I'm on my way." I drove faster than I should have. Got there in 10 minutes. The street was blocked off. Fire trucks, police cars, smoke pouring out of the windows. I parked down the block, got out, walked closer. Mrs. Patterson was standing on her lawn. She saw me, waved me over. "What happened?" I asked. "I don't know. I heard sirens, came outside, saw flames." "Was anyone inside?" I don't think so. I haven't seen Brandon in days. I watched the firefighters work. The damage looked bad. Roof partially collapsed. Windows blown out. A police officer walked over. You live here? He asked. No, my daughter used to. Do you know the current owner? Brandon Sutton. He wrote that down. Do you know where he is? No. When did you last see him? A few days ago. Where? My apartment. He came to talk to me. The officer looked up. About what? Personal matters. Was he angry? I hesitated. Yeah, he was angry. At you? At the situation. The officer nodded. We're going to need to talk to him. If you hear from him, let us know. Sure. He walked away. I stood there, watched the smoke rise. Mrs. Patterson touched my arm. Do you think he did this? She asked. I don't know. It feels deliberate. Maybe. I pulled out my phone, called Ray. There's a fire, I said. At the house. What kind of fire? The bad kind. Is anyone hurt? I don't think so. Do they know what started it? Not yet, but the cops are looking for Brandon. You think he did it? I don't know, but it's convenient. Convenient how? House is condemned. Can't sell, can't fix. Insurance might cover the damage. Ray whistled. That's arson. If they can prove it. Can they? Depends on what the investigators find. And if they find proof? Then Brandon goes to jail. Ray was quiet for a moment. You okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that. I hung up, watched the firefighters finish their work. The fire was out. The house was a wreck. I walked back to my car, drove home. Emily was waiting. I heard, she said. Is it bad? Yeah, it's bad. Do they know what happened? Not yet, but they're investigating. She sat down. Do you think Brandon did it? I don't know. Maybe. Why would he do that? Insurance money, desperation, both. He's going to get caught. Probably. She looked at me. You don't seem upset. I'm not. Why not? Because he did this to himself? Emily shook her head. This has gone too far. No, this is exactly how far it needed to go. What if he goes to jail? Then he goes to jail. And what about me? What about Trevor? What about you? If Brandon goes to jail, we don't get the house back. We don't get anything. I sat down across from her. Emily, you were never going to get the house back. Not the way it was. Brandon destroyed that. The fire just made it official. So, what do we do now? Now we wait. We let the investigation run its course. We let Brandon dig his own grave. And then what? Then we move on. She didn't look convinced, but she didn't argue. 2 days later, the fire investigator called me. Mr. Cross? Yeah. This is Captain Mike Harris, Fire Investigation Unit. I need to ask you some questions. About the fire? Yes. You were at the scene. I was nearby. I heard about it and drove over. Why? Because my daughter used to own the property. Used to? Her ex-husband took it from her. Brandon Sutton? Yeah. When did you last see him? 3 days before the fire. He came to my apartment. What did he want? To threaten me. About what? About the condemnation. About the code violations. He blamed me for his problems. Did he threaten violence? Not explicitly, but he was angry. Angry enough to burn down his own house? You'd have to ask him. We would, but we can't find him. I sat up. He's missing. He hasn't been seen since the day before the fire. His mother says she doesn't know where he is. His phone is off. He's gone. You think he ran? We think he's avoiding us, which makes him look guilty. What did you find? Accelerant. Gasoline. Poured in multiple locations. This wasn't accidental. So it was arson. Yes, and Mr. Sutton is our primary suspect. What happens now? We issue a warrant. We find him. We arrest him. And if you don't find him, we will. People can't hide forever. He hung up. I sat there. Thought about Brandon. About where he might go. About what he might do. Then I called Ray. Brandon's missing, I said. I heard. The cops are looking for him. Where would he go? If he's smart, somewhere far away. If he's desperate, somewhere familiar. Like where? His mother's place, a friend's house, somewhere he feels safe. Can you find out? I can try, but if the cops can't find him, I'm not sure I can. Try anyway. All right, I'll call you. I hung up. Thought about Claire, about her properties. about where Brandon might hide. Then I grabbed my keys. Emily looked up. "Where are you going?" "To find Brandon. The police are looking for him." "I know, but I'm going to find him first." "Why?" "Because I want to look him in the eye when this ends." She stood up. "Dad, don't. Let the cops handle it." "No. Please." I stopped, looked at her. "Emily, he took everything from you. He left you on the street. He burned down the house out of spite. And now he's running because he's too much of a coward to face what he did. I'm not going to let him get away with that." "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to find him, and I'm going to make sure he pays." "How?" I didn't answer. I walked out. Claire lived in a gated community on the edge of town. Big houses, manicured lawns, the kind of place where people paid extra for privacy. I drove up to the gate, told the guard I was there to see Claire Sutton. He called her. She didn't answer. He told me to leave. I didn't leave. I parked down the street, waited, watched. 2 hours later, Claire's car pulled out. I followed her. She drove to a shopping center, parked, went inside. I waited until she was out of sight. Then I got out, walked over to her car. She'd left a folder on the passenger seat. I couldn't see inside, but I saw an address written on the outside. I took a picture, got back in my car, looked up the address. It was a rental property, one of Claire's, on the outskirts of town. I drove there. The property was a small house, run-down, overgrown yard, no cars in the driveway. I parked across the street, watched. Nothing moved. I got out, walked up to the house, knocked on the door. No answer. I walked around to the back, tried the back door. Locked. Then I saw him, through the window, sitting at a table, head in his hands. "Brandon," I knocked on the window. He looked up, saw me. His face went white. He stood up, backed away. I tried the door again, still locked. "Open the door, Brandon," I called. "Go away." "Open the door." I said, "Go away." I stepped back, kicked the door. It splintered, kicked it again. It opened. Brandon was standing in the kitchen, holding a knife. "Stay back," he said. I walked in, slow, calm. "Put the knife down. I'll use it." "No, you won't. I will." "Brandon, you burned down your own house. You ran from the cops. You're hiding in your mother's rental property. You're not going to stab me." His hand shook. "You ruined my life." "No, you ruined your life. I just watched. You reported the violations. You got the house condemned. You destroyed everything. You destroyed everything when you took it from Emily. She signed the papers. You manipulated her. You lied to her. You used her. She was weak. She trusted you." Brandon laughed, bitter, broken. "Trust. You think trust matters? You think being nice gets you anywhere? No. You take what you can. You do what you have to. That's how the world works." "Is that what your mother taught you?" "My mother taught me to survive." "Your mother taught you to be a parasite." His face twisted. "Don't talk about her." "Why not? She's the one who pushed you into this. She's the one who told you to take the house, to refinance, to leverage everything. She was trying to help. She was trying to profit, and she threw you away the second you became a liability. That's not true." "Then where is she now? Where was she when the house got condemned, when the fire happened, when the cops started looking for you?" Brandon didn't answer. "She's gone, Brandon. She cut her losses. And now you're here, alone, holding a knife, pretending you have a way out." His hand dropped. The knife clattered to the floor. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," he said quietly. "Yes, you did. I just wanted security. I wanted to build something. You wanted to steal something. There's a difference." He looked at me. "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to call the police, and you're going to turn yourself in. And if I don't, then you'll run, and they'll catch you, and it'll be worse." He sat down, put his head in his hands. "I'm sorry," he said. "Tell that to Emily." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because she'll never forgive me." "You're right. She won't." I pulled out my phone, dialed 911. "There's a fugitive at 428 Oakmont Road," I said when the operator answered. "Brandon Sutton. He's wanted for arson." "Is he armed?" I looked at the knife on the floor. "No." "Are you in danger?" "No. Stay on the line. Officers are on the way." I stayed on the line, stood there, watched Brandon. He didn't move, didn't fight, just sat there. 5 minutes later, I heard sirens. The police came in, cuffed Brandon, read him his rights, let him out. He looked at me as they walked past. "You win," he said. Yeah, I said. I do. They put him in the car, drove away. I stood in the empty house, looked around, thought about everything that had led to this moment. Then I walked out, got in my car, drove home. Emily was waiting. They got him, I said. I know. The police called. Are you okay? She nodded. Yeah, I'm okay. Good. She looked at me. What happens now? Now he goes to trial. He gets convicted. He goes to jail. And the house? The insurance company will investigate. If they determine it was arson, they won't pay out. The city will seize the property, sell it at auction. Can we buy it? I shook my head. It's gone, Emily. Let it go. She didn't argue. That night, Ray called. I heard, he said. You found him. Yeah. How do you feel? Tired. You should. You just took down a man. He took himself down. I just helped. Ray laughed. If you say so. What's going to happen to Claire? Hard to say. If they can prove she was involved in the arson, she'll face charges. If not, she walks. Think they can prove it? Depends on what Brandon says. If he turns on her, maybe. Will he? Desperation makes people do funny things. I hung up, sat in the dark. It was over. Brandon was in custody. The house was gone. Emily was safe, and I was done. The trial took 4 months. Brandon pled guilty to arson. Got 8 years, no parole. Claire was never charged. She claimed she had no knowledge of Brandon's plans. The prosecutors couldn't prove otherwise. The house was sold at auction. It went for pennies on the dollar. The city recovered their costs. The lenders got scraps. Brandon's company dissolved. Claire sold off the rental properties, moved to another state. Emily stayed with me, got a job, started rebuilding. Trevor started preschool. He smiled more, laughed more, stopped being so quiet. Life moved on. One afternoon, 6 months after the trial, Emily and I were sitting on the porch, drinking coffee, watching Trevor play in the yard. Do you ever regret it? She asked. Regret what? What you did. To Brandon. I thought about that. No. Not even a little? No. She nodded. Good. Why? Because I don't either. We sat in silence for a while. Then Emily said, Thank you. For what? For not giving up, for fighting for me. You're my daughter. That's what I do. She smiled. I know. Trevor ran over, climbed into Emily's lap. She wrapped her arms around him. Can we get ice cream? He asked. Yeah, Emily said. We can get ice cream. We got in the car, drove to the ice cream shop, ordered cones, sat outside in the sun. Trevor got chocolate, Emily got vanilla. I got nothing. Just watched them. You're not having any? Emily asked. No, I'm good. You sure? Yeah. She didn't push. We sat there for a long time, eating ice cream, watching people walk by, saying nothing. It felt normal, quiet, safe, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like things were going to be okay. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. Mr. Cross? Yeah. This is Martin Ellis. I straightened. What do you want? I wanted to apologize. For what? For my role in what happened to your daughter. I knew what Brandon and Claire were doing. I should have stopped it. Why didn't you? Because they were paying me, and I convinced myself it wasn't my problem. I didn't respond. I know an apology doesn't fix anything, he continued, but I wanted you to know I regret it. Good. That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say? That I forgive you? I don't. I understand. Do you? I think so. Then you understand that what you did was reprehensible, that you helped destroy a family for money, that you enabled a fraud and walked away clean. Yes. And you understand that your apology means nothing. Silence. Then, yes. Good. Don't call me again. I hung up, set the phone down. Emily was watching me. Who was that? She asked. Nobody important. She didn't push. We finished our ice cream, drove home, spent the evening watching a movie. Trevor fell asleep on the couch. Emily carried him to bed. When she came back, she sat next to me. What are you thinking about? She asked. Nothing. Liar. I smiled. I'm thinking about how it all worked out. Did it? Yeah, you're safe. Trevor's safe. Brandon's in jail. It worked out. And you? What about me? Are you okay? I thought about that. Yeah, I'm okay. She leaned her head on my shoulder. Good. We sat like that for a while. Then she said, I love you, Dad. I love you too. She went to bed. I stayed up, sat in the dark, thought about everything that had happened, everything I'd done, and I didn't regret a single thing. The next morning, I woke up to a knock on the door. I opened it. Claire was standing there. She looked older, thinner, tired. What do you want? I asked. To talk? We have nothing to talk about. Please. I almost closed the door, but something in her voice stopped me. 5 minutes, I said. She came in, sat on the couch. I stayed standing. Brandon's in jail, she said. I know. He's going to be there for a long time. Good. I lost everything. You still have your money. Money doesn't mean anything if you're alone. You should have thought about that before you destroyed my daughter's life. She looked up at me. I didn't destroy her life. Yes, you did. You and Brandon and your lawyers. You manipulated her. You stole from her. You left her on the street. I was trying to help my son. By turning him into a criminal? I didn't know he'd burn down the house. But you knew he'd take it. You planned that part. She didn't respond. Why are you here, Claire? I wanted to apologize. I don't accept your apology. I didn't expect you to. Then why are you here? She stood up. Because I wanted you to know that I know what I did, and I wanted you to know that I'm sorry. Are you sorry for what you did, or are you sorry you got caught? Both. At least she was honest. Get out, I said. Mr. Cross. Get out. She walked to the door, stopped, turned back. For what it's worth, she said. You were right. I did destroy my son, and now I have to live with that. Yeah, I said. You do. She left. I closed the door, locked it. Emily came out of her room. Was that Claire? She asked. Yeah. What did she want? To apologize. Did you accept? No. Good. She went back to her room. I sat down, stared at the wall, thought about Claire, about Brandon, about everything they'd lost, and I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no guilt, nothing. Just emptiness. Later that day, I got a call from Ray. I've got news, he said. What kind of news? Good news. The insurance company denied Brandon's claim, no payout, and the city auctioned off the property, sold for $150,000. The lenders split the money. Brandon and Claire got nothing. Good. There's more. The prosecutor is looking into Claire's involvement. They found emails between her and Brandon, discussions about the house, about the refinance, about the plan to leverage the property. Will they charge her? Maybe. Depends on what else they find. I hope they do. Me too. He hung up. I set the phone down, thought about Claire facing charges, about her losing everything, and I smiled. That night, Emily and I had dinner together. Trevor was asleep. It was just the two of us. What are you going to do now? She asked. What do you mean? With your life, now that this is over. I thought about that. I don't know. Maybe nothing. Maybe something. I haven't decided. You should do something. Like what? I don't know, but you can't just sit around thinking about Brandon and Claire forever. I'm not thinking about them. Yes, you are. She was right. I was. I'll figure it out, I said. Good. We finished dinner, cleaned up, sat on the porch. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and red. It was quiet. Do you think it was worth it? Emily asked. What? Everything you did. Everything that happened. Do you think it was worth it? I thought about that. Yeah, I do. Why? Because you're safe. And he's not. She nodded. That's all that matters. Yeah, that's all that matters. We sat in silence, watched the sun go down, and for the first time in months, I felt at peace. A week later, I got a call from the prosecutor. Mr. Cross? Yeah. This is Assistant District Attorney Karen Wells. I'm handling the case against Brandon Sutton. Okay. I wanted to let you know that we're also investigating Claire Sutton. Based on evidence we've found, we believe she was complicit in the fraud and possibly in the arson. Are you going to charge her? We're considering it, but I wanted to ask if you'd be willing to testify. About what? About what you know, about the property transfer, about the intimidation, about everything you've witnessed. I thought about that. Yeah, I'll testify. Good. We'll be in touch. She hung up. I sat there. Thought about Claire. about her sitting in a courtroom, about her facing the consequences, and I smiled. 2 months later, Claire was charged with conspiracy to commit fraud. The trial was set for the following year. I was called as a witness. The day I testified, the courtroom was packed. Claire sat at the defense table. She didn't look at me. I took the stand, swore to tell the truth. The prosecutor asked me questions. I answered them, all of them. I told them about the property transfer, about the manipulation, about Brandon's threats, about the fire, about everything. Claire's lawyer tried to discredit me, asked if I had a personal vendetta, if I was biased. I said yes. I was biased, because she destroyed my daughter's life. The jury didn't seem to mind. The trial lasted 2 weeks. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty. Claire was sentenced to 5 years. No parole. I sat in the courtroom, watched them lead her away. She looked at me as they walked past. I didn't look away. She disappeared through the door, and it was over. I walked out of the courthouse. Emily was waiting. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Good." "Really?" "Yeah, really." We got in the car, drove home. That night, I sat on the porch, alone, thought about everything that had happened: Brandon in jail, Claire in jail, the house gone, Emily safe. It was over, all of it, and I'd won. Not because I was smarter, not because I was better, but because I'd been willing to do what they weren't. I'd been willing to see it through, to push, to fight, to never stop. And in the end, that was all that mattered. I stood up, went inside, locked the door. Tomorrow I'd wake up, I'd make coffee, I'd live my life, but tonight I'd sit in the dark. And I'd remember what it felt like to take back what was stolen, remember what it felt like to win. And I'd smile, because they'd never take that from me, never.